Do you believe in marriage?
Absolutely, 100%.
Please tell us more.
When you're going through premarital counseling and you're being told things that happen in marriages, I remember my husband and I would tell each other, no, not us. We were so in love.
Yeah.
We intended to take time when we got married to enjoy each other and wait before children came.
Okay.
Our plan was to stay for 2 years.
Wow. So you sat down and said, 2 years, we want to enjoy each other first.
Yes, get to know each other because this process has been a bit rushed. So that was our plan. Who is God? Like Kenyans say, God ni nani?
Wow.
I got pregnant our 2nd month in marriage.
2nd month?
Yes.
And you wanted 2 years. After getting into marriage, then you come to the realization like, no, I don't like this in this guy. I don't think I'm going to cope with this man. And remember, you've already tied the knot. What would you have done?
We need to draw that picture clearly that yes, don't go in expecting the other person to give you happiness. Because when we talk of happily ever after, many times it's I'm expecting you to make me happy.
Yeah, make me happy.
Yeah, make me happy. I'm bored. Why am I bored and you're here? Everyone is responsible for their own happiness. The same way as a single person, you're responsible for your own happiness.
Yes.
Even in marriage.
Wow.
No one has the sole responsibility of making you happy.
Topic today is on marriage. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on which part of the world you're watching us from. My name is Damarcline, the voice behind Rising Roots platform. Call it media, call it channel, yeah. Now, our aim is to evoke growth, inspire transformation, and we are so happy, so delighted that after some time, we took a holiday. We are now back again to do what we love most. And today I'm so excited because the guest I'm having on set is someone who is ready to share with us wisdom reloaded. Our topic today is on marriage. We want to discuss more. This is a topic that has been put aside, looking at trends today. People are watching different stuff and we are forgetting what marriage actually was from the onset. So allow me this moment to give my friend, Miss Hope, the opportunity to introduce herself, tell us more about who she is, what she does, you know, what are your hobbies, how are you feeling today? Wow. Karibu sana, and you're looking so lovely.
Oh, thank you, Damarcline. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
It is such a joy to be here, to have this conversation with you. And where do I start? So Hope Waiganjo is my name.
Yes.
I'm married to one Pastor Waiganjo, Pastor Stephen Waiganjo, and we serve together at Rock West Assembly. We are blessed with 3 amazing children.
Wow.
Yes, and we turned 12 years in marriage in April. We thank God for that.
It's a milestone.
It's a milestone. We thank God.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we are passionate about marriage.
Yeah.
Building marriages, preparing people for marriage. So that means starting with premarital counseling and guidance. And then also all the way to once people are married and they need guidance after the marriage or post-marriage. We also offer programs of the same. Wow. Yes, because we believe in godly marriages. We believe in building marriages that are rooted on the foundation of the Word of God. And it is usually something that gives us joy when we work with other couples who are also intentional about growing in that area. Wow. Apart from that, I coach and I train on personal and interpersonal skills. These are skills that we all need. You know, starting with communication,
100%,
yes, emotional intelligence, personal branding and image, how to package yourself and present yourself, and leadership skills. So I do that under Bold Nivel Limited, which is a company that I founded. Yes.
You founded it. You're the
Yes.
CEO. Okay, what is the name again?
Bold Nivel Limited.
Bold Nivel. And that's your
Yes.
full-time job at the moment?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, okay. You are such a full package. And looking at you or listening at what you just said,
Yes.
and I know people will be watching, and let me have this question now on myself. And if I listen to what you're just about to share with us and follow through, and I apply it in my life, what are some of the benefits I'm going to have from today's conversation?
Okay, so let me take us back, because I know we've said that the conversation is about marriage.
Yep.
But remember, marriage is about two individuals, so you and the other person. And so I love starting with the foundation of who a person is.
Yes.
So after watching this podcast, this episode,
Today, yeah.
my desire is that you will grow as an individual and know that you are the one who will determine the growth, the success in your life, and how far you want to go. And so I know we have a tendency of blaming things around us for what has not happened.
Yes.
Even in marriage, people are blaming their spouses.
Yeah, it's you.
No
it's
one
you,
wants to
it's your
point.
fault.
Exactly. No one wants to look at themselves and ask, what is my part? What can I
Yes.
do
Yeah.
in my career, in my personal life, in relationships? What can I do to become that person that I'm expecting others to be to me?
Yes.
So looking at yourself and building yourself. I'm so passionate about personal development. Working on yourself, working on your skills as an individual, working on your emotions, your emotional well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being. So we're going to start there. And my
Wow.
desire is that you will live being inspired, that you can determine the course of your life by what you do.
It is
Yes.
you. It comes from you. Oh
Yes,
my good Lord.
absolutely.
That is so beautiful. Now we move on to our first question. Pastor Hope. Do I call you Pastor Hope? Allow me.
Whichever is
All right.
okay,
I have
fine.
a pastor in the house today, and I'm so honored. I feel so privileged. What is the biggest surprise or some of the shocks people get after getting into marriage?
Wow. One thing that many people realize once they get married
Yes.
is that I know when you're dating
Yeah.
and planning to get married, there is people go through a lot of emotions, the chemistry,
Yeah.
the excitement. And I know when you're in that phase, you imagine that's how it's going to be throughout.
Forever.
In fact, when you're going through premarital counseling and you're being told things that happen in marriages, I remember my husband and I would tell each other, no, not us. We were
Wow.
so in love, yeah.
It
so
would
you hear
happen.
things like, no, not for us. Because you're so focused on the journey ahead.
Yes.
The love is strong and the passion. And so people get married and realize that this person who looked all together nice, perfect, now you are with them 24 hours. You see them waking up. So you see them at their lowest, you see them at their weakest, you see their best, you see them at their worst.
Yeah.
And this is something that sometimes you're not prepared for, because when you come close to someone like that, then their humanness can bring out things that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect that one, you see someone that not at their best. Then the other thing you realize is that you will have conflicts. I know even when you're dating, people do have conflicts, but
Yes.
in marriage it's different, because not that you're and I'm hoping that people don't pretend or fake it when they're dating.
Yeah.
But it's different when you're in close proximity with somebody.
It's real.
It's real. You're not putting your best foot forward anymore, because when you're dating, you show up in a date, you're dressed up, you're all looking good.
Yeah.
Putting your best foot forward as expected,
Yes.
because really you want to impress this person that you are in love with. Then you get married and you're waking up together. You've relaxed. I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
We are home now. And so some people don't expect that to happen, especially when you are not prepared well enough. That can be a shock. Having those conflicts, having disagreements, realizing that sometimes those feelings, with time, they will go down. You know, the passion, the excitement,
Goes down.
life happens, and now pressure comes in with real life. You're dealing with real life, with going back to work, going through a life together.
Yes.
Many other pressures come in, and now you see somebody in a different way, at their worst.
Yeah,
Yes.
they playing them.
Yes.
Do you believe in marriage?
Absolutely, 100%.
Please tell us more. You know why I ask that question? Because
Yes.
today you go online and people are writing marriage is a scam.
Oh my God.
The number of people who are crying and
Yeah.
cursing marriage are so many.
True.
So we would want to hear from your perspective. Yes, you said you believe in it. Yes, please share more, a little bit more on that.
On that. One, I believe in marriage because as a Christian,
Yeah.
God is the one who created marriage.
Sure.
And God says everything he created was
Yeah.
perfect. Nothing he created was imperfect.
Yes.
That includes marriage. And so it's very unfortunate
Yeah.
that people are calling marriage a scam.
Sure.
No one is calling their careers a scam. No one is calling politics a
Surprisingly.
scam. Yeah. Yet marriage is a neutral institution that takes two people. So it's the people who determine how their marriage will be.
Yes.
Because in the same place where people are calling it a scam, there are others who are enjoying. We cannot all live a lie that no one is enjoying marriage. That's a lie. That's a lie. So there are people who are enjoying marriage. I'm enjoying marriage. That does not mean I have a perfect marriage. No one has a perfect marriage. Just because I'm enjoying marriage does not mean that I am exempt from the stress and the pressure and the things that people go through. Of course, they're there, but for me, the journey of having somebody else walk with me, the journey of life, somebody that I can share life with, somebody who has impacted my life, because I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yes.
My husband has really contributed
Wow.
into the woman I am today.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
Please talk to him for 1 minute.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
tell him something. Yes, because he will be
I'm even
watching.
blushing. Hey, babe, thank you for the impact you've had in my life.
Wow.
Really, really, because you've believed in me, you've prayed for me,
Wow.
you have pushed me to be who I am today. And I usually say that he has tough love because, without
tough.
his tough love, I would have been very content being that introvert I told you about.
Yes, yes.
Quiet. But he has kept on pushing me to become the person that he would see a gift in me and would tell me, this is what I believe you can do.
Oh,
and he
wow.
would call it forth. He would pray over me, push me and support me in so many ways.
Yeah.
And so for that, kudos to you.
Wow. I know you will be smiling.
He'll be smiling.
Now, let's dive deep into you and your experience and what you have been through. Kindly, would you just share a little bit about how your marriage has been, what you're comfortable with?
Yes.
Maybe you can share when you got into marriage, how was it?
Okay.
Now, have you experienced any challenges? How did you handle them? And where are you today?
Wow.
Yes.
I love that. Like I said, 12 years is a long time. So we dated for 8 months. From the time we met, from the time we had our first date to walking down the aisle, it was 8 months.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That man was very intentional.
He was intentional.
Yes, he knew what he
From our
wanted.
first date, yes, he said he doesn't want to date me. He wants to marry me.
Wow.
And so I came out of our first date planning a wedding. You can imagine. Yeah, so
Wow, okay.
So we did that. Thankfully, we were surrounded by a community in church, friends who were very supportive. I usually say we dated in a community, literally. Everyone was in our business,
Wow.
which was a blessing.
Yes.
It was a good thing. And I encourage that actually. And so, of course, with that, having said that, we intended to take time when we got married to enjoy each other and wait before children came.
Okay.
Our plan was to stay for 2 years.
Wow. So you sat down and said, 2 years, we want to enjoy each other first.
Yes, get to know
Okay.
each other because this
Intentional.
process has been a bit rushed. So that was our plan. Who is God? Like Kenyans say, God ni nani?
Wow.
I got pregnant our 2nd month in marriage.
2nd month.
Yes.
And you wanted 2 years.
We wanted 2 years.
Now, sorry, let me cut you short.
Yes.
Because something is burning in me. I'm like, all right, you rushed. You just said it was kind of rushed. So when you settled into marriage, you said, let's learn each other first.
Yes.
Let's not rush into having kids.
Yes.
Now, my question is, what would have happened if after getting into marriage, then you realize, you come to the realization like, no, I don't like this in this guy. I don't think I'm going to cope with this man. And remember, you've already tied the knot. What would you have done?
Wow. I've never been asked that question. So,
Yes.
what we purpose from the onset,
Yeah.
divorce was and no goes on for us. Yes.
was
And you
a-
see, I know I can't say it was rushed really. Of course, it
Okay.
was rushed compared to many people
Yeah,
take longer.
sure.
But one thing for sure, you can never really know someone fully and
Yes.
say, now I know you.
100%.
Because we are, yes, as human beings, we are growing, we are evolving, we
Yeah.
are changing.
True.
And so even after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in marriage, people will still tell you they are getting to know each other. And I think that's the beauty of life.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be very boring.
Yeah, I know.
And so what
Yeah.
we saw in each other, well, let me speak for myself. What I saw in him for those 8 months was enough to make me say,
This is
I'm
him.
good with this.
All right.
Anything else we will work on.
Okay.
Because the foundational things were good. I
Okay.
could say tick.
Sure.
Faith-wise, values, which are the things that I recommend people look
Okay.
out for.
Faith,
Yes.
values,
Character.
character.
Yes, and the vision is, do you have the same vision? Because those are things you need to discuss before you get
Yeah.
married, that you're going in the same direction. So because those things had already ticked the boxes in for those main things,
Okay.
anything else that would have happened after, it would have been easy to
Manage.
Yes, and of
All
course
right.
it has. I mean, we have all evolved. We have both evolved, but we have been able to say, you know what, this is life. We are moving with each other. We are committed, and the change and the growth in each other is welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So 2 months into it, a baby comes.
A baby comes.
Uh-huh.
A baby comes, and I didn't have an easy pregnancy. So remember that part I was talking about, seeing someone at their worst. This was
Okay.
my husband.
Okay.
His bride now turned into this woman who was having morning sickness that was not even morning, it was morning till evening sickness.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, and he had to step in and help a lot. And I think no one would have expected that would have been his, I don't think he came expecting that to turn out to be his life. I'm sure he came ready to enjoy with
Yeah.
his bride, have fun, and this happened. But of course, like we said,
Yeah.
when you love somebody and you're committed, you accommodate anything that comes. And so
Oh, yeah.
we journeyed through
I love that.
we journeyed
I
through
love
the
that.
season of pregnancy, which was very difficult, and he really stepped in and was present, was there, supportive. And so that, of course, changed many things.
Yeah.
For us. We experienced real life and change from the ground go. Yeah. And so we can say that is one of the challenges we had to face. Him seeing his wife not being able to do things normally.
Yeah.
People know what morning sickness comes with.
Yes.
You can't cook
Yeah.
as much, especially the first few months, because of the smells that you repel,
Yeah.
the sickness, throwing up and stuff like that. It's a mess, it's a mess.
And
of
throughout,
course-
he was supportive.
Yes.
Not any time did you feel like you were sensing he's feeling tired?
No, never.
Wow.
He would go to cook, go to work, come back. Sometimes I've not even moved because I was really in a mess, and he would still clean up, cook
Yeah.
again
Wow.
next day. And even after the babies came, he has never changed. He has still remained supportive, even with the children.
I hope the men watching, the men watching will borrow that.
Yeah.
Yes,
I thank
wow,
God for that.
all right.
Yeah, so those are some of the challenges. You're asking about the challenges we faced.
Yes.
That was one. Of course, the baby coming soon before tujipange.
Yes.
As a new couple, a young couple, you have plans, your goals that you plan to set up. And this happened. So we had to make some adjustments, but we managed to go through it.
Yeah, successfully.
Yes, and
Wow.
we thank God.
No fights. Those normal fights.
Of course, they were there. You
Exactly.
can imagine.
That's what I want to hear. How
that's
did
what
you
want
handle
to-
it? Like, how did you manage?
Oh my God.
Did you reach out to relatives, or did you just sit down and say, ini kidogo, let's handle it? Yeah.
Okay,
the
so there
normal.
are some, of course, we would handle because they were minor.
Yeah.
The most that I can say, we reached out to friends,
Okay.
mutual friends. Yes. We also, something else we purpose from the word go
Okay.
was not to involve our families into our marriage.
Wow.
Yes. And that has helped a lot.
That was my next question. Where were the where was the family during this time? What was your experience, especially now moving into that home for the first time, the first few days? Were you welcomed? Was it ish? I know there are things you might not want to share because this is online.
Yes.
But how would you rate it? The experience you had?
No, my in-laws, not our home.
Where you went to, so your in-laws.
My in-laws, okay. They were accommodating. Of course, different. Our cultures are different. He comes from a different culture than me. He is from me. Okay. And so, of course, the culture shock, which is normal. The way we do things and the way they do things, completely different. Yeah. But so I had to learn the way his family, I had to learn how his family culture is. Yes. And learn my space and where my space is and not push it. So for me, I was comfortable being in my place and not going to, sometimes as women, and I don't blame the women themselves. I love that, yes. We are conditioned to go and change our in-laws' homes. So you show up like you're the savior, you have come, you have come, and you wonder like these families, they always have a problem waiting for a daughter-in-law to come and save them. Yes. You know, because many people have friction with their in-laws because you come there and you want to change how they do things, how they live. Yeah, and expectations. And your expectations. So for me, I just went and observed and I learned and I was ready to accommodate whatever, and I didn't push it. I didn't pretend to be who I wasn't. You know, again, you also trained, you know, when you go to your in-laws, wear long clothes, tie a headband, and for me, I was like, this is me. I'm here to stay, so I'm not going to show you what I'm not. And so, not that I would not do what I'm expected to do. Of course, I would go, show up, help, love my in-laws. We have, in fact, we've never had friction with my in-laws. We have always had a cordial relationship, mutual respect. And it's because I think I learned to know my place and allow them to show up the way they want to show up. Yeah. Wow, that's so beautiful. You learn your space as a woman. Yes, yes. Fit in. Don't bring. Go when you go to Rome. Do what does Romans do? Yeah, exactly. Don't come with your expectations. Don't bring your culture to your in-laws because that's the mistake people make. Yes. You even want to bring your kind of food is what you want to cook. Of course, once in a while they would desire for me to cook what we cook best, and they would always love it when they visit. They want to taste the kind of food of where I come from, but don't impose your culture on the place where you are married. Yeah. Wow. Now, do you believe? I know you said you believe in marriage. Yes. You know that is totally different. You believe in marriage, yes. I mean, this thing that you've said when you got married, for you, you went in and said, I am here to stay. You know, you didn't go there with the mind of, I can go away anytime. Now, do you believe in this statement they say, happily ever after? Is it realistic? I think we have to define what happiness is here. Wow. Because if we are talking about the happiness in terms of no friction, no issues, no challenges, then that is really not the case. The same way as a single person, you're not living a happily ever after life as a single person. You go through stress, you go through pressure, you go through challenges. Even in marriage, it's the same. You're two human beings in this covenant. So actually the common denominator is the two people, human beings. In the union. And so if as an individual you can go through stress and issues in life, then it means even in marriage you still go through the same thing. Wow. So again, that does not mean that marriage is to be endured, because there's also this statement that people keep saying marriage is not supposed to make you happy. I don't know if you've heard it. Yeah, a lot. You've heard that a lot. And I'm also a bit cautious with that, because again, it sells marriage as this thing that people they're enduring, they're not happy, they're suffering, they're miserable. It's like we are exalting being in a marriage that is, you know, you're suffering. I don't think that is the case. People are enjoying marriage. People are enjoying, just that they're not the loud ones. The ones who are negative are the ones who are louder, unfortunately. Yes. But I know people who are genuinely enjoying their marriages. And they're quiet. And so we need to draw that picture clearly that, yes, don't go in expecting the other person to give you happiness. Because when we talk of happily ever after, many times it's, I'm expecting you to make me happy. Yeah, make me happy. Yeah, make me happy. I'm bored. Why am I bored and you're here? Everyone is responsible for their own happiness. The same
Yes.
way as a single person, you're responsible for your own happiness.
Yes.
Even in marriage.
Wow.
No one has the sole responsibility of making you happy. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it is normal to feel unhappy in marriage.
Yes.
There are those times.
Yes.
It is what you do with it that matters.
Exactly. Yes.
And be open. Huh?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We move on to my next question. Okay. This is a good one. Does love reduce over time?
Wow. Love, again. You know, I think many of these terms we use out here, we need to be clear and define them. Many people describe love as the feeling of excitement.
Wow.
If that's what we're describing,
Yes.
then those ones will definitely go down at
Reduce.
some point. Yeah. Because marriage has phases. The excitement phase or the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
And it is expected. If you're not experiencing that at the onset, there's a problem. So you need to experience that. It's a new thing. The same way anyone, when you buy a new car, there is excitement. It's actually a psychological thing that you have to go through that phase when you have something new and something exciting that you've been looking forward to. But of course, as time goes and you get into real life, you back to your careers and work and maybe children come, life will happen and
things will go back to normal.
Faces will change. You will get into a phase where now you have to learn to understand each other. Get to becoming one is usually a process. It's not an easy journey. Becoming one means I'm getting to understand you, accommodate you, your weaknesses, your strengths, as you do mine.
Yes.
So that means there is no guarantee of excitement throughout. So I don't think love fades. In fact, to me, if you ask me, love grows. The love where you're intentional about it. The kind of love that is described in the Bible, the one that God says he gave his only son. If you're describing that kind of love, and it is the love that we need to actually aim for in marriage, the sacrificial kind of love, where I am looking out for my spouse, I am putting their needs before mine, I am looking at them and I don't want to do anything that will cause them, I don't want to do something intentionally to harm them. Then if that we're talking about that kind of love, then it grows with time, because the more you know each other, the more you become one, that process of becoming one. I think with time you become, the love grows because it's a choice. It's not just feelings. You choose to be with that person. You choose to love them through their different seasons of life, through the different challenges that life brings. To me, if you ask me, I think love grows with time in marriage.
I love that. Love grows. Love doesn't fade away.
Yes.
Now, what happens when you have, because you have clearly stated there and said, get to learn each other, get to be there for each other, get to understand the other person. Most of the times it should be the other person, not you. Okay.
Yes.
Looking at it from the angle of, you know, you're not making me happy. You should ask yourself, what are you doing to make that person happy? And if the other person is also thinking of the same, then you're gonna grow together in love.
Yes.
Now, what happens when the other person is the stubborn one? You're doing everything you are supposed to do as a woman, because now we are women. Let's speak from the woman angle.
Yes.
You know, you have tried to create time to, you know, talk. You'll be the one to talk. When there is a conflict, you call that meeting and you agree and you say, like, going forward, we're going to do this and this. What do you do now when this person appears to be stubborn?
Wow.
Yes. How do you handle it?
When you have done your part.
You've talked, you've done your part, but this person is just on their own.
In their own world.
Do you call it quits? Do you ask for a divorce?
Oh my God. Whoa, we have jumped all the way to 100.
I know.
I think two people living together in one space, doing life together, it is not as easy as it, you know, even when we're saying we are happy, it doesn't mean that it's easy. Of course, human beings, first of all, are selfish by nature. Everyone will want to look out for themselves. Everyone will want to be in a place where their needs are met. Yeah. And so let's just say that as we go on. Yeah. It takes intentionality. It takes maturity to be able to put the other person before you, to put the needs of the other person before
Sure.
you. And so it means that when you have a challenge or a conflict or something, that a struggle, it takes two mature people to be able to handle it, resolve it, and move forward. So again, you need to make it clear that conflict in marriage, that does not mean that you have a problem. That does not mean that the marriage is breaking or the marriage is going through a situation that there's no hope. Conflict's actually normal and natural.
It's a big...
And yes,
it's okay.
And in fact, after a conflict, normally you grow because you've gone through a level and you've gotten deeper, like your roots have gotten deeper once you're able to come out of a challenge successfully. So having said that, of course, the expectation is that you always have mutual communication, mutual agreement on different matters. But there are cases, of course, for reasons that we may not know because they're different marriages, different reasons. Maybe a challenge has happened and you have sought to resolve it, and this other person is not willing, is not on the same table with you. And they're not playing their part. There are many ways to try and handle it. One is seek help
from other people.
As much as possible, avoid involving family into your marital issues because they will always be biased, and it's very normal. And then once you have moved on from the challenge, you know, it is easy to move on. And as a married woman, you know how you fight over something when it is, when you're fighting, when you're going through it, it seems so big, but once you move on from it, you forget about it. Other people, especially your family, may not move on like you have. And so they will always look at your spouse and wonder, is our child or our sibling okay? They will never fully move on, and that's why it's avoid to involve them. So look for a neutral party, friends, a counselor, church, maybe pastors or elders, people that you look up to, people that you can both listen to, and they are also neutral. They will not take sides, because the other problem people make is, if the one who is the grieved party will go to somebody who will take their side. But that really is not the intention. If the intention is for you to come out right, then really you're not fighting for the marriage. You need to go to somebody or people who will not take sides, but they will confront the issue and help you address it in the most neutral way possible. And if possible, a couple. Again, because you are also a couple, so it's good to hear from both sides. From the teachers. Those who have gone through it and experienced it. They've gone through it, they've experienced it. And also because sometimes it's easier because you're a couple can understand both sides. So that it's not one person who will not see the other person's thinking.
I love that, but I have a question again. Sorry if they're so deeper.
No, it's okay.
Because you mentioned seek help, reach out to neutral people, and you mentioned church. And outside here, Gen Zs will tell you it is no longer the church that used to be church. You run to the church, you go to this person you admire, especially for this case, let me talk about men. There are men in church whom we trust. Of course, not all of them, but you go to them, you become a prey. You went to be helped, it turns out. Where, like, talking to a Gen Z who is telling you that, what else do you have for them?
I want the Gen Zs to know that when the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, these things have always happened. And what I remember for me, advice that I took from a younger age is that my pastors back then, when I was a single person, they always used to recommend that if you're a lady, go to lady pastors or lady leaders. And if you're a man, go to men. Because even the Bible is clear. Older women teach the younger ladies or younger women. And because of obvious reasons, you can't trust anybody. And of course, I'm not saying that there are no honorable men and women of God or leaders in church. They're there. But it's hard to tell. You may not know. So just to safeguard yourself, go to the same, your gender. To a leader who is your gender, And if it's a matter that needs maybe more someone else to look into it, they can go to somebody above them. Yes, so that's what I'll advise.
And now that you're a pastor, I'm looking forward to another episode where we shall come and speak about the church setup.
Okay.
Because even in church, like I just mentioned, even the same gender, sometimes it's scary.
I forgot we are living in dangerous times.
Okay, yeah, I get where you are going to, but that's not what I meant. Even the gender, sometimes you go to someone, you feel like this will be a role model, but some of them are not there because of what they're supposed to be there for. Some of them could be there for business. Some of them have their personal interests. Sorry to be judgmental, but that is now the world we are living in today. But I like the fact that you gave that advice. Please reach out to the same gender first. And I believe after you relate with someone for some time, you're able to tell or trust who to go to. Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
All right. Now we move on to, we look at men versus women.
Yes.
According to your own analysis, when you look at marriage these days, would you say marriage is more harder for men or is it more harder for women? Like, who is suffering the most? The reason why I ask this question, you will always hear people saying, my wife is troublesome, my wife, or some women will always refer to their men. So according to your own analysis, would you say women suffer more or it's men who suffer more? If you are now to talk about suffering, because initially you said for you marriage works. It depends with what your expectations were when you are getting into it and what you do to nurture it. But when it comes to now suffering, would you say boy child is suffering more or it's the girl child?
Wow. Like I said, marriages are different. And there are marriages where it's the men who are having it rough, others it's the women who are having it rough. I think both parties, when it comes to being in a marriage that maybe has troubles, both parties suffer. I can't say men suffer more or women suffer more.
All right.
One thing is for sure, men don't talk as much as women. And so there are many men who are quiet. And it's so unfortunate that for cases that have to do with men, we end up knowing that they were suffering way late, some even after they've committed suicide. And we have heard of such cases recently. I know women, we are blessed with the gift of sharing as how we are wired to have communities around us. So women are able to share more when they're going through an issue. And also, I believe when we talk about women suffering more, and I know there is that angle where you can look at women suffering more because they're the ones who carry pregnancies, take care of children, and so they end up having to sacrifice pursuing their careers or their businesses in many cases more than the men. And so in a case where the man is not really pulling his weight, the woman may end up suffering more. That does not now say that men don't go through a hard time. There are men who are married to women who are giving them a lot of trouble, and they're not understanding, they're not taking their role of being a wife, and they're competing with their husbands, and vice versa. There are men who are also not providing leadership to their wives. And so their wives are having to take up the role of being a leader, carrying the weight of the home. And so I can't say it is a gender issue. Different situations, the cases are different.
All right. Cases are different. If you ask me, I would say, from my perspective, I would say women suffer more. And you clearly stated there and said that women go through a lot. You know, there is the carrying of pregnancy, there is ensuring the baby is taken care of, the house chores, which in most cases are overlooked. In most cases, it is who goes out to bring the money is the one who is considered working hard. Now, and again, we are told a happy marriage depends on a happy mother, wife, or woman.
That statement, happy wife, happy... Happy wife, happy marriage.
Happy wife, happy...
Or happy family.
Happy family, So, looking at that, And I know we are coming to your book in a short while here.
Yes.
And looking at our viewers, what are some of the things you feel like you really want to share? Like, let's begin with women. You're speaking to ladies outside there.
Yes.
And what are some of the things you could advise them to ensure they do? Practice on a daily basis to make them grow or transform into that mother. Because let's not lie here. It's the mother it's the woman who makes a home. And there is no way you can make a home or a happy home if you're sad, if you're not happy from within. So, and we don't want to wait for the man to come make you happy. So what are these you want to share with us that we need to practice on a daily basis to keep that home or marriage happy?
Okay. First of all, I don't believe in that statement, happy wife, happy home.
Oh, wow.
Happy wife, happy husband, happy home. Both parties need to be happy.
Yes.
At the end of the day, and like we had defined what happiness is and what it's not, not depending on the other person. Focusing on the fact that you are the one who determines your environment.
Yes.
So whether you're a man in the family or the woman, create that environment that will bring joy and peace in your home. Because when we talk of happiness, we are talking about that environment of joy and peace, and a home that has is not turbulent, doesn't have a lot of chaos, you know? And who is responsible? Both parties are. Because like we said in our earlier question, one person can't pull the weight of a family. One person can't carry the marriage. It takes two. And so that means that as much as you are expecting, as a wife, expecting the man to bring joy, you also create an environment that is, the man, yes, will create the home, because I also believe biblically, the woman carries the weight and they nurture, but the man provides. The same way the man provides the seed, the same way the man provides the house. So as a man, provide something that your wife can work with. Provide leadership. Every woman needs a leader. So you can't be a laissez-faire kind of a man, you know, everything goes in your home. No, provide leadership. And leadership here, we're not just talking about you bringing the biggest check. Leadership, first of all, is, are you whole? And I go to, now that is for both parties. Are you a whole person? Have you dealt with wounds in your past, trauma? We have to be intentional about addressing our health. Starting with health. Yes. Our health emotionally, our health mentally, because all these things that you may have gone through from childhood to your singlehood, past relationships, they leave a lot of trauma and pain and hurts and wounds that sometimes you carry them into marriage and you're projecting your pain onto your spouse. So make sure you're intentional before you say I do, that you have gone through. There are different ways, and my book will help, because I've listed down different ways that you can go through that. Starting with your spiritual health. Are you having a walk with God? Because marriage is an institution that God instituted. And actually the problems we are facing today is because people have gone outside of the principles that God himself has laid out. You can't buy a car today and you want to ignore the instructions from the manufacturer and expect that car will work. It will break down.
Oh, I love that.
And it's the same way marriage today. People are getting married. They even do a church wedding. They call a pastor. To me, when you call a pastor, it means that's a biblical marriage. You have said that I will be under the biblical authority. Yet they will leave that and they still want to run their marriages without the order of God. You don't want to have order in the family. You don't want to take your responsibility as a man, and the woman doesn't want to take her responsibility as a wife. Once there is disorder, it means chaos begin. And so from the onset, decide and purpose whether you're going to have a civil marriage. But the marriages are different. You don't even need to do it in church if you don't believe. I recommend it because I've seen the benefits. But don't say you're doing a wedding in church, but yet you go out and you're not even following anything that God is saying.
Your ways are totally different.
Totally different, and you still expect him to come through for you when you're struggling. No, you can't be running to God when you're in chaos, but yet you don't want to follow his instructions, which are very clear in the Bible. So you can have a traditional wedding, you can have a civil wedding, and there's the biblical wedding.
Wow.
So make sure that you decide from the onset. Like one thing we decided with my husband, the Bible will be our final say. So we can have a challenge, we can have different opinions, and we will air them. We are free to air our opinions, but we will go back. If we don't agree, we will go back to what does the Bible say on this matter.
Yes.
You must have an authority in your marriage. Otherwise, everyone will do what they want. And so back to your question, as a woman, even the man, work on your identity again. The problems we're having today is you don't know who you are. So in a marriage, and you expected that title to define you, you get in and you realize Mrs. is not enough. Because really, it's just a title like any other. Does it really meet the core need that you have of identity? So make sure that your identity is anchored on. For me, I will recommend that God becomes your anchor because he's our creator. He's the one, once he gives you that identity, you'll become unshakable. It's not like today where many things are defining people, titles, roles, and then when you don't have them tomorrow, your life becomes shaky. So make sure you're anchored, your identity is anchored, define what your purpose in life is, something that will give you fulfillment. And then, know your role and your place in the marriage and be comfortable in that role. And enjoy it. I
love that. I've actually picked two statements from that. The first one was, you go buy a car, you want to drive it under your own terms. You ignore the instructions of the car manufacturer. You're going to hit it. The second one was, you go to church, have a wedding in church, you invite God into it, but your ways, you don't want to walk in the ways of God. And you expect when you're in trouble, you call upon God to come through. I love that. So I hope we are learning together as a community. Now, their marriages, in one state, let me limit this one because I have another question before I forget. What happens, just in one statement, you are in church as a woman, you pray so hard, you pray for your family, you are down to, like you're the one who is always even apologizing when you haven't messed. When is enough enough?
Where is this man at this point? I just need to clarify, where is this man?
The man is there. The man is there. But, you know, these days they say church are for ladies, for women. You go to church, actually, you find more ladies than men. And for him, they're laid back, you know. And the reason why I asked that question of when is enough enough, we've seen marriages ending in deaths. People killing each other. You know, that aggressiveness coming in the long run. So, yes, you're a pastor. Yes, you will say divorce is not a good thing. But when is enough? When will you reach out and tell your daughter in marriage that, come back home. Come back home now. If your life is in danger, of course, run. We are not even discussing that. Even God doesn't want your life to be in danger. No, he's our father, he's our protector. And so if your life is in danger, this man is violent. Don't even, for me, I say, don't wait for him to beat you twice. Once is because you didn't see it coming. Run, seek for help. And beyond that, of course, you will need help that is given to you specific to your needs. So you will need to work with somebody who is who understands your story, but make sure even as you seek help, you're out of danger. So we are not. There's no point of you're safe. You're out of that home, and hopefully you have a place that you can go to in safety and together with your children. But no one who tells you to stay in a violent home really wants the best for you. No. What's your take on same sex, same gender marriage? You went there. Your opinion.
You actually went there. Wow.
You're not advising people, but what's your take?
My take, like I said, the Bible is the last say, and God says it is an abomination, actually. So that means it's beyond a sin. It's a no-no. Because by the time you're being attracted to the person of the same gender, you need help. You need help. It's not a natural thing. It's not, because that's not how God created us, to be attracted to the same people. So there must be something that broke somewhere. It could have been many times. If you check back to people who have same-sex attraction, it could have started in molestation, a rape, or something that was done to them at a young age. And so the enemy uses that because the enemy is a master, he's crafty.
Yeah.
He will take advantage of any situation to bring something that is not of God. So, and that's what I'm saying, even the pain that we go through, including rape and violence, make sure that you go through healing. Spiritual healing, emotional healing, because the devil uses loopholes like that to come in. Yeah.
Wow, that's so beautiful. What advice do you have for that young girl, young but probably a Gen Z who is so in love and is getting into marriage? Yeah, what advice will you tell them? What are the expectations? What should they not expect? Yeah.
Wow. One thing I will advise,
Yes.
and I also say it in my book, age, bank account balance does not mean you're ready for marriage. Make sure that before you decide to get married, you have worked on yourself. Marriage is not for children. It's not for babies. It is work. It is warfare. Because anything of God will attract the enemy. So people are saying that, oh, marriages are hurting, they are under attack. Yes. The same way, even you as a single person, in your life, if you're really pursuing after God and doing what God desires, you will be attacked. So how do you expect that a marriage that is a union that is fulfilling God's purpose will not be attacked? So we should not be shocked that marriages are being attacked. Are you ready to withstand those attacks? Are you ready to be a prayer partner to this person? And not just praying those prayers of bless our food. Those ones will not help you in marriage. You will need to really be somebody who's seeking God for your marriage, for your generations, because the devil will want to destroy your marriage, will want to destroy your generations to come. So one, make sure your faith foundation is deep and rooted. Make sure you have healed from your past trauma. You have gone back to go through personal self-analysis. Do a self-search. Go back to what you have seen happening in your parents' marriage. You know, those are things we take for granted. But they are patterns that the enemy will want to propagate and repeat in generations. So if they have had challenges in their marriage, maybe people in the family of your parents, either they struggle with marriage, they struggle with whatever it is they struggle with, start praying about it today. Make sure you're praying, make sure you have disassociated with patterns that could ruin your marriage. Prayer. Make sure you're also rooted in the word. Make sure that you have dealt with those wounds, trauma, rejection, because many times those things follow you in marriage. If you are rejected, you may end up being obsessive, being the kind of a spouse that will always want to know where your spouse is, always suspecting that they will leave you. You know those things that they are not random, they start from somewhere. So go through a session where you can unpack your life, you can unpack your past relationships, you can deal with whatever you need to deal with. So that you're whole, you're sober, you're not getting into marriage because of the excitement and the chemistry and good vibes. No, it should be deeper than that.
Should be prayer. So I'm picking prayer. Be prayerful. Be prayerful to the young people outside there. Now, those who are already in marriage, one thing that is usually mentioned many times that leads into breaking marriage is trust. Trust. Now, what is it that people should do in marriage to ensure trust is not broken? And I'm speaking this from the angle of a man is told to protect. Now, protect and provide is not only protect, masculine protection or providing financially. There is also the emotional provision. You need to make sure that she, as a man, she's emotionally protected. She trusts you that even if you call and say, I'm going to travel for 1 week, she will help you pack and see you off peacefully without feeling like, is he going somewhere? Is there another? So what are some of the things we need to do, both men and women, to ensure that trust is not broken?
I will say it starts with the foundation. How you start anything is very important. Your foundation in dating and courting, the kind of things you do, the kind of conversations, because these are things that you need to learn and understand. I usually say that no one will marry a perfect person because none of us is perfect.
100%.
Yes, we have different of opinions, different of personalities, which is actually something beautiful, that we are not going to marry people who are same as us. But there are issues that you should be a goes on. Character flaws. If you are somebody who values honesty,
yes,
and you see you're dating somebody who you can clearly see they have a problem with being honest,
yeah,
then those are red signs that you don't ignore. You need to decide that because these things don't start in marriage. This person who is not trustworthy in marriage, most likely they were already untrustworthy in single.
Yeah.
So I usually say, make sure by the time you're marrying somebody, you have seen that there are no deal breakers, that there are no red flags you're trying to ignore or to think away, because sometimes you think, they'll change, and this thing of he'll change when we get married,
or I'll change him.
The biggest scam ever. No one can change anyone who doesn't want to change. Yes, you can't. Anyone who doesn't want to change will not change. And if you don't see that change before you get married, don't expect that change to happen after.
Exactly.
Make sure that, because what you see when dating will be magnified in marriage, good or bad.
You don't believe someone can change once they're in marriage? They start very well and then they change.
I can't say absolutely not. They're there.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a gamble you want to take.
Okay.
Yeah, because what if he doesn't? Those who change, I cannot say absolutely there are no people who change, because I know even of cases of people who maybe they got married, they were not born again, they met in a club, they were drinking, the lady gets married, gets born again, and the husband later also gets born again, and they stop that lifestyle.
Yeah.
There are cases like that, but how many are they? And do you want to gamble on that?
No.
You don't want to place your life on such a gamble. So make sure that by the time you're getting married, and I know I've not answered your question, because now for those already in it, and you don't trust this person, I think, again, like we've said, seek for help, because even that person who is not faithful, you know, those things come from somewhere. I know it's also a spirit, lust or immorality, all those are spiritual things. It's a spirit. So somebody has to be determined to make their life right with God and deal with that spirit, because it's a spirit. And so it's a choice that they can make, but they have to be willing. And so seek help. And also, seek help. Seek for help from the right people, spiritually. Have a good system. What is it? A support system. Maybe community of other couples who have the right values. Again, such men who may be unfaithful, they are surrounded by other men who are telling them, no, there is this girl here, why are you going home?
We are going there.
Oh, we are going there. Exactly. So your company matters. Make sure you're surrounded by people who have the right motives. If you have friends who don't have right values for marriage, cut them off. You can't hang out with people like that and expect that they won't affect you. So there is that aspect. And also I think as wives, we also need to play our part. Now, because we talked about men, I know if you're the man, your wife is the one who is not being faithful, seek for help, surround yourself with the right people. On the other side, we also need to create an environment that is conducive and peaceful, that both my husband and wife are able to run to. And I think maybe this will move to the next point. I was going to talk about how many times the reason why some men give for staying out late and ending up in some other relationships is because there is too much noise in the house. And men say they don't like noise. When they come home early, the woman is shouting and bringing up issues. I think also as wives, let's create conducive environments that our husbands will want to come home. No one wants to go home where they are paying bills, but they're feeling like an outsider.
It's a prison.
It's a prison. Pinguza maisha. When I was a child, marriage used to be called pinguza maisha.
Wow.
You never heard that?
No.
Yeah. I used to hear that marriage is being called pinguza maisha.
What I used to hear more was marriage is the only school you get a certificate before learning.
And that is so true. But pinguza maisha sounds like a hostage situation. You're always being controlled. You can't go here, you can't go there. I mean, no. We are adults and marriage should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be. It's things like that make marriage be endured. You avoid questioning too much. Yes.
Now, in a scenario where you question and you're not answered, or the answer you are given is not convincing, will you advise cheza chini, like a woman achana nayo? Maybe
Okay.
you know, we are told women have some instincts.
Uh-huh.
So I have instinct my husband is cheating. I have and because every time he comes home, he's like, I'm going to the Kinyonzi. So he spends dakika kidogo Kinyonzi, dakika kidogo mnaenda car wash, dakika kidogo I'm having a meeting somewhere. So you try asking to understand, but the answer, sometimes you're pushed away. Ay, maswali yako ni mingi. Like, what do you do at that point? I know it's a hard one.
It's a hard one, and I honestly feel for anyone who is in that situation.
Yes.
But what I can also say is play your part.
Yes.
Play your part. Provide that right environment.
Yeah.
I usually say, you know, marriage is it's not 50-50, it's 100%. Are you giving your 100%? Give your 100%. Honor this man, respect him, you know, submit to him.
He will behave.
I don't want to
If you do that.
because honestly, there are some who, even with good wives, they still misbehave.
Yes.
I think at the end of the day, make sure that you've done your part. The same goes for even, you know, there are also husbands who are married to wives who are really giving them headaches.
Headache.
Be the best, love this woman, make sure you're doing your part. And then after you've done your part, then now we can come to those other questions.
Yes.
Sometimes people are complaining, but even you, what are you doing? You know, you're questioning this man, where are you always, you know, why are you always going? And yet you're also never at home. He doesn't feel like the home is giving him a good environment because you're never there. You're not taking care of the things of in the house. You're not ensuring that there are meals that are ready. So if everyone did their part, I think we will be in a better place.
All right.
And also, if you allowed God to be the center, and you focused on love as described in Proverbs 1:13, kindness, patience, long suffering. If we all focused on that, I think we will have good marriages.
Long suffering?
Yes.
Are you saying we suffer for long? Are you encouraged? Okay, not are you encouraging, but anyway, because of time, and I wish we could have. I know. Sorry.
I'm sweating. Yes, long suffering is not just suffering from issues that your spouse is bringing. Life in general will bring situations.
So you suffer together.
Yes, suffer together.
Vumiliana.
Don't run away when issues come up and have one of you has lost their job and you want to run because I want soft life. No.
Because you know you can decide to suffer and you suffer for the rest of your life until you go down to suffering.
No.
So we need to be very wise.
Be wise.
When to suffer.
Suffer as don't suffer and you're passive. That suffering it means that you're enduring the hardships, not issues to do with faithfulness and trust. Things to do with life. Because even as a single person, you will need to suffer through some things. So make sure that as you're going through that, you're also working on yourself. You're improving your life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And before, I'm sorry for stressing you, but
don't be sorry.
Before we get to the book, this one question this one I cannot let go.
Wow.
When is open? Like we are told, be open to each other. Don't hide anything. So should a man be open about all his finances, be open about all his moves, be open about, should a woman, because we are also told pesa ya mwanamke ni ya mwanamke, ya mwanaume ni yetu ya familia. Like, just briefly, because of time, I really want us to talk about the book.
Yes. How open should you be? I think you should be very open to each other. I don't understand how you can trust someone with your emotions, with your body, and you don't trust them with your bank account. To me, it doesn't make sense. My body and my health are more important. So when there's trust, it's easy to. But again, I know some people are married, people are irresponsible. You know, once they know your bank account, they'll be out spending it. So have structures. But at the end of the day, build together. If you're building a marriage together, you should not have secret stashes and accounts.
What about phones, password?
Yes.
They should be?
They shouldn't. You should share each other's password.
Share.
And email, everything.
Because we are normally told, usiguze simu ya mwanaume. Ukiguza unajitafutia maneno.
No, those are marriages that are being governed by other principles
out
there, by the world.
Oh, right.
And see, that's why they suffer issues of the world.
Yeah.
But I think you should be open with each other.
Okay, now to our viewers, Pastor Hope. She's a whole package. From being she's a parent, she's a wife, she's a pastor, she's an author. And today we wouldn't end this show without talking about her beautiful book, Becoming Before Belonging. And I want to give you this platform to talk about your book briefly. What is it about briefly? Where can we get it as we wind up?
Okay, thank you, Damakleen.
Yes.
And so this book came as a result of me being passionate about marriage and hearing many questions about marriage, how to prepare. And all the questions, most of the questions we have tackled actually are in this book, Becoming Before Belonging. Mainly, I've talked about working on yourself. You see, the same way we have addressed it here. Because many people usually look for Mr. Right, Miss Right, and they forget to work on themselves. So make sure that the marriage you want, you are going to be that person that you would want the other person to be. The way, what you're expecting, make sure you're also that. Yeah. So it's a book that anyone can learn from, because whether you're married, single, intending to get married, it talks about many things that have to do with you working on yourself, breaking from the past cycles, making sure that you're working on your mental wellness and emotional wellness, becoming whole, understanding your identity and purpose, and much more.
Wow.
You can find it at Nuria Bookshop, or you can inbox me on Nuria Bookshop. Yes, you can find it at Nuria Bookshop, or you can inbox me on different social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
We will share them on the video.
Yes.
Pack a phone number.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you. I look forward to you reaching out.
Wow.
And getting hold of the book.
And I like the bit which says how wholeness in singlehood leads to wholeness in marriage. So it's before you get into marriage. Work on yourself first. Make yourself whole, and get into marriage and finish the marriage. Make it whole as well. So thank you so much for coming. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming, honoring my invitation. You know, maybe to our viewers, we fellowship together and in church, and there is this one day she was hosted in the church platform, and from where I was seated, I was like, wow, because whatever she spoke about touched me, reached out to me, and I was like, how can I get also people outside there to get the same message? I reached out. You honored the invitation. I feel so much blessed, very humble. Thank you for coming. Let's keep on doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed having this conversation.
Yes.
Answering your tough questions.
Or I will make them simple.
No. I mean, those are the questions people are asking. Anyway. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate.
And you even came. She's not feeling well. She sacrificed to come all the way. So thank you. Until our next episode, to our viewers, please keep on subscribing. Share our content. When I was trying to do my calculation and maths, I noticed that around 20% of people who watch our content are not yet subscribed. I would say 50% of those who watch our content do not comment, do not, like our stuff. Would wish to invite you into participating fully on our platform, so that as we grow, you're also growing. So thank you so much for being part of our family and our community. Until next time, take care of yourself.